one time here. I'm so happy to have you, Carmen. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me here once again. I'm so excited as well.
I am too. But we have here our final guest, our last guest, actually, for before Christmas. So we have to introduce a little bit about ourselves with Carmen. So if you start.
Hello everyone, I'm a host and caster, and well, that's exactly what I do within the esports industry.
And I'm intellectual property, but here you're not here for ears. You're actually here for our guest. So big welcome to Vlad. Thank you so much for coming.
Hello, Carmen. Hello, Yasmina. Happy to be here and to share some thoughts and my story and story of esports charts to your viewers. Yeah, and just to have some good conversation.
I'm glad to have you. Actually, for those who doesn't know, Vlad is a great professional, but of course, you have to introduce a little bit about yourself in a nutshell. So go ahead, Vlad.
So right now I'm working at like a partnership and sales manager for esports charts. That's the big into data company which investigates the esports market in terms of viewership, and we know pretty much about its trends, about preferences, and so on. And myself, I'm like a big fan of esports. That's why I came to this industry, and yeah, I'm pretty. Just to say one more time, I'm pretty happy to be here and share some thoughts. So yeah.
You have a huge profile, actually.
Yeah, I can assure you. So I want to ask you more specifically about esports. What was the video game that really introduced you into this world, and well, how did you start of your career within this field?
Well, so my biggest esports love and biggest game is definitely CS:GO. I started to play in like even the oldest versions, like 1.6, when was this famous Navi roster in 2010. I was like a little boy cheering for them, watching their games, and then I just started playing, and I totally fell in love with this game because I know I just like the tactics, the also the how to say the vibe of the game. So yeah, that's definitely CS:GO. I also played some other titles like Fortnite, Dota 2, but they didn't catch me as much as the shooters. So yeah, that was.
That's really nice. That's why in your profile you say that if you want to talk about any kind of tiny tournament related with CSGO, you will love to. That's why. Okay, I see then. So if our audience wanted to have a mini tournament or something, you know who to contact then.
Yeah, definitely.
But Vlad, I would like to know how you end up in this industry, because you are working right now at Esports Charts, right?
Yeah. So it's all started maybe in 2017 or 18, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got a very powerful student council in our university, making them like up to 20 events yearly. And then we came up with the idea that what about organizing a CSGO tournament? So like just to get all the players together and doing some crazy things, because I've participated in some of them during that year, and I decided why not. So we came up with the idea with organizing the tournament. I was like the main organizer, doing all the admin stuff, preparing servers, doing all these things. It's gone pretty well. So we've got some great feedback after that, and then we get noticed by the Esports Federation of Ukraine. But the thing is, it's very closely connected to the esports charts. So that's why we entered the holding, like the big group of companies called ESN1, where like it's all the things are incorporated. And then we started to just doing tournaments for them. Then we've got noticed by the guys from there that said, so you won't make much money by organizing any tournaments, so go up and go do some other things, for example, like programming, because myself, I'm has a diploma in computer development. So they decided, so come and do some website, do some things for us. And then it's ended up that I switched to the sales. So it's like, it's like a long journey in the sports field for me. Yeah.
No, it has to be because it's like so different profiles in this case. And actually, it's so nice that you started your own tournament by your own, because I think it's quite difficult, right, Carmen? I think I could imagine.
Don't ask me, I haven't planned one of my own.
Yeah, for you, it's like it's a lot. Don't please
Yeah,
don't.
then I mean, I'm all about casting. If you make me organize a tournament with the sponsors and all this stuff, I don't think I will be able to do it, to be honest. And to be noticed, that is such a big acknowledgement, to be like actually seen and heard and told, hey, you are actually good at this. Why did you come do it, even though you have to go through those other hoops of like finishing your studies and so on? But that's really amazing from you, Vlad. Like, yes, oh my God. I'm very impressed. But I want to ask you a little bit more into that side of event management before we jumped and we dive right into esports charts. Because that's also a side that many people do not really notice, don't really see. We see all the tournaments themselves and we are like, oh, this looks good, this doesn't look so good. But so many things happen behind the scenes, Can you tell us a little bit what was the best moment as an event manager and the worst one? Because we know that carries a lot of stress, like getting everything together. So what were the best and worst memories you've got out of making that kind of thing?
Yeah. Oh, thanks for the question, because it's like it's takes me back to this time when I was like an event manager and doing these things.
University.
Making
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, definitely. So I think the best part is when you finish the tournament and the last round finishes, you give the prizes to the players and you understand that you accomplished things, that you finished the tournament, and the participants are really satisfied with it, because it's like a huge amount of work that you should do when you do these things. It's I can say that it's a very good example of crisis management, because every time something going wrong and you need to fix it as soon as possible. I know, like especially if CS:GO, if it's like some violation of the rules in the tournament. If there are some things when the server went down, you should calm down the players, because everyone is like saying that ban them, they're like violate the rules and all this stuff. So many things. Also, when you should communicate with sponsors, and if of course if you would like to make a LAN event, because like our final games were on LAN, you should find a venue, you should talk with the owner, and so many things that you should do. Yeah, maybe the worst part when I don't know, it was some case when this server went down and it was like pretty neat score, and one team was starting to arguing, so why we should replay, and so yeah.
Sounds so stressful.
No, it has to.
But it pays off. It pays off when you finish it and you like have this vibe of accomplish something good. So
I think you can put it into CV and everyone like, I manage a tournament and how stressful. So if in any interview they ask you like, how good are you at problem solving? I did this. Please look this.
Yeah, that's a good point for CV, especially in esports.
Especially in this aspect. But I would like to ask you about esports chats, because I don't know if our audience know something. I know that, for example, for instance, you explained a little bit about it, I think, in the class when you did the conference.
Yeah.
But I would like to the audience to understand what actually does esports chats.
Yeah.
If you can, I dare you.
So basically, it was founded in 2016 by our great founder Ivan Danishevsky. He's like a household name in esports, especially in Ukraine. And the reason for that, because that time and also right now, esports lacks transparency. So basically, you don't have some valid sources to understand what is going on in the industry. We've got a lot of teams who's winning tournaments, who's losing tournaments, but when you're like a brand considering to sponsor a team, you don't have much data about it. So you can see that, okay, they won a tournament, but how many people have seen them? Nobody actually don't know this. And if you ask a team, they, they're not the, how to say that, the most credible site to trust, because they're interested in like inflating numbers and showing that also, hey guys, we're good. We're doing, for example, 160 million impressions for a month. But how do you prove that? So the reason for the esports charts to make a third-party organization, which is not interested in inflation numbers, and we are interested in showing how it is like in real life. We're not associated with any big major names, and we are on your own. So our key is to show the real audience of the esports and help teams, brands, tournament organizers getting all this data in one place to have a whole picture of what is going on with their popularity. Because, as for the esports being a media business, it's the main value that you can bring to the sponsors. So that's what we are doing. Analyzing the audience. Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you as well, because now that we know what esports charts is, more or less, we've got an idea of what it is, but I want to know what role you play within the organization and what do you do like on a daily basis? Like, could you tell us a little bit about that, like an insight into Vlad's life?
Well, many things, because so my main role is like sales and partnership manager. So I'm talking with the teams, talking with the potential customers, making negotiations. But after that, I'm the person who really understand what clients need. So what are their needs and data? Why do they need this thing? Why do they need this data or some other things? And in this case, I'm like as this gate who's communicating their needs with the developers, with our analysts who's doing all these products. Another thing is that we have some educational programs for, so, there's a lot of universities starting master's programs in esports, like teaching new esports managers. And it's really important to talk to them and to show them the value of the data and so why the viewership is important. So in that case, I'm the one who's negotiating also with education institutions, doing some programs. For example, we've partnered with Finnish University Camp recently. So Kajani University of Applied Sciences, something like this. I'm just talking the name, but yeah, we agreed on developing a course on them. So I'm also the one who's like preparing all these presentations, putting all this stuff together, and also doing some lectures for the students, because as well, we understand that in 5 or maybe 3 years, it will be the new guys who will be like running these major organizations. And if they know what the data and also transparent data is important, the esports industry will benefit at all from this. Yeah. And other things also like doing conferences, making some kind of interviews, also how to say, public speaking.
Conference like a host that we actually met.
Yeah.
And you were perfectly how important is actually the sector and how important is data to understand it. But Vlad, I'm of course I'm a lawyer, so I'm going to do like tough questions. Carmen is starting to laugh, but she knows it's true. So prepare yourself, because you have to be ready to defend your enterprise, and in this case, you will have to explain me what make esports charts different for all the other companies. What makes you different for the competitors? Come on.
Oh.
A juicy response here.
So what can I say? So first part, that is like how to say, most significantly differentiates us is that we are completely transparent. So we always tell how do we get the data, how we calculate it, and how we do this. So it's all about the methodology, how we how we get this media value number, how we get all of it. Unfortunately, there is a practice in terms of analytical companies that everything that they do, it's like a black box. So you just put something, get the number, but does it really calculate it in the right way? The client, they can't prove it because they don't know how it was done. They should just trust the company. In our case, we have like prepared documents where we explain everything and every step of how do we get the data, process it, and then give it to the client. And in this case, they can.
That we will ask you actually, because it's how important is to get the data. But now I will pass the ball to my friend Carmen, because I know she will prepare another question really hard. Come on, Carmen.
I mean, my question was exactly that one, but well, now that we want to make things difficult, I might give you a case study. So take Valrid, for example. This is a personal question I'm using just for my personal sake and interest. You take Valrid and you see that the information is very little about the players, about the database of people who are playing right now. So what do you do in these kind of cases when the game is not that developed or in that stage where you can find reliable sources of information? For example, for League of Legends, they go the API and it's kind of different. But how do you collect information and bring it to mean something? Essentially, just short.
So the thing is that we are focused more on the viewers than on the players. So we are more inclined to analyze the audience of who's watching it on like any streaming platform like Twitch, YouTube, Facebook. And in this case, we are open to get any data from these platforms. So at least if you can get the data from, let's say, Valorant about the players, but you can definitely see how many people watch it on Twitch. And then, so all the APIs that are open, and Twitch provides a huge span of data on this case. And you can definitely see how is it going. So, but for example, like this weekend finished the Valorant World Championship. Yeah. And we've got all the numbers that, for example, like peak viewers for the grand final was 1 million people. No problem. We got all the data from all the platforms where this tournament was streamed, put it all together and have a picture. So we were kind of free in this case because lucky for us, streaming platforms provide many data about the viewership and also like the viewers. But in some cases, if there's it's a small platform from, I know, LATAM, for example, like Nemo TV, they sometimes are kind of, they don't want to show their numbers because they don't want to show that they're losing, for example, to Twitch. Because Twitch is like the major household name in terms of the streaming games and esports, and it usually gets like 80% of the viewership. So in some cases, but we're finding ways to omit it and get the data and show the picture.
So it's interesting. So actually, you get the data from the viewers, not so much from the other side. That's nice. That's interesting.
Yeah, because if you're talking about the brands and also like the major consumers of this data, they usually interested all in the viewers because any tournaments that being sponsored, for example, by Red Bull wants to know about the data, about the viewership and how the brand is exposed to the viewers. So yeah.
Now I'm curious regarding this. If you like, I would like to ask you, for example, in this case, what kind of clients do you have? I imagine that it's all the agents of the esport ecosystem, but because I was thinking about the sponsorship, as you said, Red Bull, that maybe ask you because they wanted to know which kind of number of viewers are in a tournament or maybe in a competition on a specific game. But I also imagine that all the agents will be really into to know the data and information. So In this case, how many clients do you have, and what kind of client do you have the most?
So, that's basically all the major companies involved in the esports. So, as to say, definitely that's the esports teams who would like to understand their picture to show to the sponsors, and also they would like to understand how their particular rosters are doing, because they can have a roster in CS:GO and League of Legends, Valorant, but they can have all the different viewership, and you invest money in like paying for the bootcamp house and for paying wages for the players, but they don't give you viewership. That's not a good thing. So you should think about how to improve it. Why is it so low in this case? Another part is like also tournament organizers, because they can understand the behavior of the audience. Also, like, do they like the stream on the particular language, or they like follow a certain team, or I don't know, they're more inclined to watching another discipline. So if the tournament is doing tournaments in different disciplines, so something like this. Another thing is also game publishers who's inclined to the esports. So they invest money in doing tournaments to driving attention to the game, because like esports does much attention. When you just like to play, you watch the teams, and then you want to go and play by yourself. Another thing is also brands when they decide to sponsor a certain team. So that's we've come many cases when we reach out to a brand which signed a team, and we are curious why did they pick this team, because according to our data, it's not the most popular one, and it won't give much value to the brand. So in this case, we're talking to the brands and showing the best opportunities, which teams are sponsored and which teams will cover their target audience. That's the most critical point for them. Another one is agencies. So we are analyzing the streaming market as well. So if we have agencies with streamers, they would like to also understand the results of their advertisement campaigns, their viewership of also the behavior of the influence. So many things. As to say, the most like biggest part of our clients right now is definitely the teams, because sometimes we've come along in some cases when we say to the brand, why did you pick this team, and why and say that this team has low numbers, they usually don't want to accept this, and they better ignore us than just changing their decision. So that's sometimes this happens. But as for the brands, we've got some clients with like Red Bull, MasterCard, also like betting companies. When they invest in the esports tournaments, they also want to know about the viewers and about how their brand is exposed to them. So something like this.
No, nice. Later, I will ask you which brand has been the most strange one that it comes to you for asking for esports, but for later. Now it's time for Carmen to ask.
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the teams because I was thinking, okay, it's viewership, right? When it comes to competitions, you usually have those teams competing against another one. So how do you deduct the people that are interested in watching the competition for that team from those who are watching it because they're interested in the esport in general, and the ones that are actually watching it because of the other team?
I think I'm the difficult ones now. I got to say, Carmen, you're becoming a lawyer right now.
So in one case, so we can analyze the matches of the certain team. For example, we have Navi in the last major in CS:GO. When you have the viewership by each match, so how the particular match gained some, I don't know, hours watched, the amount of average viewers who watching the match, you can see the trend that the matches of one team gain more attention than the other. So basically, that's the way you can understand that many people are just going to follow the team and watch their games. That's one point. Another point is usually, so basically on Twitch, it gives you an ability to follow the exact viewer. So, for example, exact Twitch nickname, and
Okay.
you see which streams this viewer is watching. So when so basically you can even analyze the way how this viewer is like going from like one team to
I
another,
feel
and you
so scared. That is so easy to analyze.
can so basically you can have the picture of the player. The funny story about that. So like this famous Ukrainian player, Simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was some rumors about them that he's like might be entering some relationship with some famous Russian streamer from Moscow, and
No,
we knew about it. And we knew about it before it was announced because we were like analyzed. Okay, he's watching her stream, and he's spending like so much time there. It's definitely something gonna happen.
Oh my god, but that is
God.
like being a private investigator in a way. Like you're just like, did you do that for like just?
Oh my
Oh
god,
my god.
esports can use in another way. This is a dark side here.
I'm gonna refrain from watching certain people on Twitch nowadays.
Yeah.
And
It's like a psychological profile of the person, like they're really watching this person that is doing content not related to what they are usually interested in.
Well, I think actually it's like when you, for example, watch any social media and you notice, like, for example, when someone break up, I realize when they do it, like, they're not together in the pictures anymore. Here is something happening.
He's like, he's not
Well,
watching her
stick to
streams
Russia.
anymore. They're not dating. He's clearly he's given her an
They're
unfollow on
not
Twitch.
together.
That
Oh
is
my
like
god, they're in different apartments. Oh my god, they're
the background light is different. Oh
Yeah.
my god. There is an entire thing behind it. And like you guys could also open a media outlet to sell the kind of information. Like, oh, okay.
in relation with that, I would like to ask you how you understand the data that you receive, how you get this information. Of course, you notice that if they watch in more time, one channel may be happening here, but where is the more formal process, please?
So yeah, that's what's the funny part. But in this case, so it helps us to understand like the amount of unique viewers who've seen the tournament, who've seen the match, because so when we see the broadcast on Twitch, we can like refer to like the live viewer number of the viewers. So for example, in this moment of time, like 10K of the viewers, and also like the views. But the views itself does not represent the amount of unique viewers. So also it was a case that I'll also have shown on the guess. We analyzed some big tournament. If I'm not mistaken, it's like World's League of Legends 2018, something like this. So in overall, it got 75 million views. If you think about it, it's a huge number because wow, 75 million views, it's like so much attention. But if you analyze it, it was like only 2 million of unique viewers who've seen the tournament. And also for the brand, that's not so huge compared to the 75 million views. In that case, it helps us really to understand what's happening and like how much new customers potentially a brand can get by sponsoring this tournament. And also like we can analyze the cross viewership. So for example, we can see that let's take the famous Spanish streamer I know, like the Gref, and compare it with eBay and see how do their audience crosses. How many of people like watching eBay watch the Gref and vice versa.
For a moment, I just saw Carmen froze, and she looked like she was asleep, and I was like,
Sorry, Vlad, go on. I just like froze for a second. My internet is
I
having some trouble.
was sorry. I was like, Vlad is telling something really interesting.
I was trying to listen, but suddenly it froze, and I was like, "Oh no, maybe it fell for everyone. Maybe it's just me." Okay, it was just me.
I'm so sorry, Vlad. I was looking like I didn't know this cannot be.
Everything is fine. Everything is
No,
fine.
no, but it's
So,
interesting the way. Yeah, but
so
for example, I sorry,
yeah.
tell me, go ahead.
No, yeah. I've like finished the point. So basically, yeah, it allows us to understand how the audience crosses, and also to understand the competitors. So if you'd like to understand uh, who streams your audience also is watching, so who with whom you compete in terms of, for example, on Twitch, no problem. You can analyze it. We even have a different tool for that. So you don't need to ask us for any special report.
And maybe I have a stupid question related with that, but if, for example, I know that sometimes viewers cannot watch it extremely, maybe they watch it like afterwards. Do you receive that data as well? Like,
So it's counted more than like a views. So
oh,
we can. So after the broadcast, there is a VOD available on Twitch. We gather just the number of views of how many people have seen it after the event. But yeah, we're more inclined to register like live viewership rather than like after the.
because I found that interesting because maybe sometimes even influencers or streamers would like to know the timetable. Like for example, at that time I have more viewers I can watch him, and maybe there are more that watch me before afterwards when I finish it. Is that thing that I was thinking right now?
So in this case, we have some. So we have like a dedicated website with like showing all the analytics for about the streaming, like called Streams Charts. In this case, we have some tool for the streamers when they can see their viewership by each day. So, for example, on average, they can see how much attention do they get on each day of the week, and then they can understand. So, okay, so this day I stream, for example, at 9 p.m. Central Europe time. I've got, I don't know, 10k average viewers. On this day, I stream like 1 p.m. European time. I've got like 2k, and they can just understand. Okay, so this time works better. Something like
I
this.
see. That's really nice and really useful.
Yeah. So there's more of tools so to understand the viewership, but I've encountered the idea that usually, so this data is more useful for data guys who like to like go into the data, how to say, dash into the data, play around with it, and then just come to a conclusion. But most of the streamers, they would like to see like the number and the easiest interpretation of these numbers, and then just show it to the sponsor and okay, give me some money and I'll give you the.
Is it because I don't know you, Carmen, but I know the mathematical and data person. I don't understand it. So glad to know that you receive it like we were saying it's better like something like more for the person into
Yeah.
detail.
That's nice. I do want to know more about it from the point of view of the streamer. Like, if I go into the website, what functionalities are available to the public, which ones will be like behind a subscription, and what is kind of the full range of things that we can do within the website? Because I've been there before. I think I used it even for my final degree project.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I've been there quite a few times, and I want to for you to give us a little bit of a tour through the website. Like, I'm a streamer. What do I do? How do I take this information? It is all presented, as you say, like already collected and explained, as in these hours, like the peak hours, peak viewers. Okay, so that's so interesting. But is it different for like everyone, like for brands, for oh my god, for influencers, for teams, or is it all like put in the same way for everyone?
So, that's a great question because like
My Carmen is
yeah.
amazing. She does.
So basically, we have several subscriptions and several levels of the data that anybody needs. The starting level is like streamer subscription. It's like the easiest one. It's, I don't know, it's like $9 per month, something like this. It's very cheap, just for streamer to analyze his or her own channel. So, as I said, things like unique viewers that have seen the stream, also the amount of time that people spend on stream. So there is like this metric called bounce rate. So the amount of viewers who've spent on the stream less than 2 minutes. They just jumped in, jumped out, and these viewers are usually not involved. So you would like to understand how much time people really spend on your stream, because that's also like it's a core audience who can like very loyal to you. Other things is like, as I said, like competitors. You can see which channels do you compete with, like who are your main, I don't know, competitors in terms of like streaming content. Other thing is email reports. So after any stream, you can get a report to your email. That's basically what Twitch do from Twitch dashboard, but in this case, you can customize it in the way you want. So, for example, you want overview months report, overview quarterly report, just to share with your viewers or with the sponsors. Also, you got some tool for making infographics. For example, you pass 100 million followers, you get a pretty picture for Instagram, Facebook to post it on your social media and share with the audience. Other thing, we have achievements. So it's like some part of gamification when any streamer can do it's like a certain set of achievements. And like, for example, you streamed for 7 million hours watched this year. You reached 100K followers. So even a small one, like even with 1,000 followers, all of the levels are there. And also, you can see the viewership by each status of the stream. So for the streamer, when you have like ad integration, for example, you have to play with we had a case for like Brazil GTA 5 server when they were integration with food delivery called iFood. So yeah, and when there was an integration, they put a certain status of the stream. So iFood play. When you go to the website, you can see the exact numbers for the status stream. So for the streamer, when you want to know attention only for the part where the integration was, you can easily do it. But enough words. It's better to explore by yourself because we have like a free trial for this subscription for 5 days. So anybody who would like to explore the website by yourself are free to do it.
It's nice to know. Especially for us, because in Esports Business, I think it could be really useful to see how we can improve.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I think that's a great tool, like for streamer to analyze the growth points and what's happening and growing big. Yeah. Other thing is like more professional. It's for the agencies and also brands who would like to pick certain influencers from Twitch and would like to understand who are the best ones to partner with. It's like the pro subscription. So basically, it gives you all the granularity of as a streamer subscription but for any channel on Twitch. So you get all this data, but for any channel, and also you can filter it. For example, you would like to know best female Spanish streamers who used to stream LOL. No problem. You just pick these filters, and you got the viewership. You can filter it by any metrics that you would like to. And then, so we've got some cases. For example, we've got one tournament organizer called Esports. They're using streams charts for like picking the streamers to partner and promote their tournament platform. So, for example, they would like to know best Norwegian streamers streaming CS:GO for 5 days of the week. They pick it. They have the contacts like for business emails. They can download it like a CSV, play around with it, and then just reach out to them and partner. So just to understand what's going on the platform. That's like the pro subscription. And other thing is like the enterprise level. So that's for huge agencies who would like to go like beyond all this stuff. And it gives much more tools, for example, chat analysis. So if you'd like to know how many times the brand name was mentioned in the chat, you just go to a certain stream, type the word, and you got the picture.
Oh my God, scared of what information that you can get. It's like
It's all anonymized. It's so you know it's all compliant with GDPR. We're not stealing anyone's
Of
personal
course.
data. So
I think it actually is useful and you're doing it for good, not for evil, like all the other platforms that use our data. So
Also, we
we're
all accept the cookies, so I mean, we're kind of giving that away already. So that.
yeah.
but it's so great the level of detail. And may I ask you, for example, what trends did you observe for the viewers? What movement have you watched? And anything that you for you was curious, apart from the fact that you know all the love story of every streamer.
Yeah. So especially in 2020, there are a lot of trends. For example, like a big boom of Spanish streamers because like in when the pandemic started, everyone's like stayed at home and they just understood that whoa, there's a whole new world called Twitch when you can just talk with people, play games, and have a good time. Other thing is like so basically, we've got some new rising Spanish streamers since the pandemic. So like Ibai, the Grab, all these guys like started gaining attention when also started. Other trend is like mobile esports. It's huge. It's
Hey.
growing very,
I'm
very,
so
very
happy to
big.
hear
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Especially because you know, like everyone has a smartphone. Everyone wants
True.
to play some games, and it's
Exactly.
much.
I
Yeah.
wanted to tell you that, for example, the other day I was because I follow in Twitter the director, I think, for one of association of developers of game developers, and she has like his own mobile phone company, and she works as a developer there. And she always tell that a smartphone is the console at the end. Actually, it is. You have it in your hand. So I'm so happy that you say that. I have to say that. Sorry
Yeah,
about that. Go
yeah,
ahead.
you know, it's much easier to have a smartphone and play on it than having a PC and or like I don't know like a PC4 something like this because and also it's like we see that it's most popular. It's in you know it's. I don't want to offend anyone, but you know, like in kind of poor countries, which are not like used to have a PCs, like I don't know, like Russian Federation, Brazil, also Asia, East Asia is very booming with the esports because you know it's very easy to enter. Yeah, and it's got huge viewership. So I've heard things that some teams, like major teams from the esports, I don't want to name anyone. So they sign rosters in the mobile games just to have some viewership. So just to boost their numbers as an organization. And you know, like sponsoring a roster in a mobile game, you know, one player, it's like wages $500 per month. It's way less than in traditional the esports because you know I've heard things that, for example, in the CS:GO, some top players got $25K per month, and it's like a normal salary for them. And then you have like this like less amount of money for the mobile games, and then you have a huge viewership. So it's you know it's a good investment for any sports team to hire a mobile game roster just to get viewership and show to the sponsors. So okay, guys, we are doing great. So, yeah.
Great. I like it.
And also what we've seen. Oh, chess. Yeah, it's booming.
Yes.
It's true. The other day I saw a news regarding this that chess is continuously growing and the numbers of viewers are amazing, Carmen. Oh my God, there are a lot.
Do you think it has something to do with
Go ahead, go
Queen's
ahead.
Gambit? Is Queen's Gambit? Yes, I
Quick
think.
comment. Yeah. You
Or
go.
is it like because the chairs now with all the websites have boomed and basically everyone can use them? Why do you think this explosion when it comes to chess became so trendy suddenly in Twitch and other platforms?
So, well, we've seen a lot of examples that when like this TV series comes out and we have a boost in viewership. So, for example, when the Witcher series came out, we've seen that, for example, everybody started playing Witcher 3 games and it has like a huge viewership on Twitch, so it's
I
really
will ask
boosted.
for Arcane as well,
So
because I imagine that for Arcane, I imagine that a lot of is starting to start with LOL.
yeah.
Suddenly, they watch the show.
So for the League of Legends and the recent TV series, we didn't finish the research yet. So we're going to post it like maybe in sometime
Please
sooner.
send us when you
But
have it.
yeah, but like for the Witcher, it was definitely the pool. For the Queen's Gambit as well, we did research for this. But I think in case of chess, it's more like mix it up. Situation, because we've got these tournaments with hyped streamers when they're doing like these chess tournaments with CQ, how XQ cow. Oh yeah.
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
So XQ cow, most critical, all these great guys, also Hikaru. So guys from chess platforms did a great job in promoting this game, like making the attention to it, bringing, and they're doing great in influencer marketing. So it was like a complicated and mixed solution to boost the viewership. But I think, yeah, Queen's Gambit played its own role in this, because everyone's seen, oh, chess, a great game. I never
Yeah. Whew.
heard about it, and they just started to learn more. And it's a great game. I personally love to play chess, and I'm totally happy that this happened, because more attention, more players, more people who you can talk to about chess and play with. So yeah.
Out of curiosity, I want to ask you, are there any shows that you found to be connected to GTA 5, for example? Like this show rises in popularity, GTA 5 also rises in popularity? Or do you think because it is a role playing game, it just does it on its own? Because I've thought about it. Like, I'm thinking, what do people think about when they think of GTA outside the game itself, right?
Mm, so that's a good point, but unfortunately we didn't any researches for this.
Well, you
So
know what to do now, Vlad. I need to get the
Yes,
information.
now you have something to say.
I need
so
to
I'll
know.
talk, I'll talk with the team. They're always inclined to do some interesting stuff in these terms. So when you find the clues when everybody saw there's no clue at all, but you got this. I think the GTA by itself a very great game in terms of like the gameplay itself, but also Rockstar is doing great thing in doing this
Hmm.
role play, because everybody wants to play another role in this virtual world, and basically you can become anyone and doing anything. So in this case, that's really doing, but I think it's doing by its own, and because it's just a great game with a great gameplay and so on. Yeah.
Okay.
That's nice. And I would like to ask you because we were actually mentioning the 2020 and as you say, the streamers, especially the Spanish one. But how was for you in general? What did you observe in each charts? It was the mainly situation of the ecosystem at that time.
So the year 2020 was great for us because we're doing many like researches and have our own blog with like reporting the also this all this stuff and the tournaments, and we gained a lot of attention during this year, because so as long as this pandemic drew attention to the esports, to the streaming, they also started to the viewers also started to thinking about, wow, why is the streamer so popular? Who is the most popular one? And they're just started to surfing the internet, finding our website, and they, whoa, yeah, good. I know these guys are great. And also we've got done some great work on Twitter, because every time there is a viewership record, we post it on Twitter, and then it's like goes viral because everybody like retweets it and so on. This was the case, for example, with the viewership record on the CSGO Major. So when it's broke like the 2 millions. It was like the record from 2000. So the recent Stockholm major in CSGO broke the record from 2017. So it's like 4 years. And when we posted it, it's gone viral because like all the teams that was involved reposted it. Also, the game publisher was reposted it, and it really helps us to gain the attention. And when we started our offline conferences, for example, this autumn, also like some other conferences, it was maybe the first time when we start speaking with the person. Oh, Esports, I know you guys. You're doing a great job. So let's
True.
talk. Yeah, what are you doing else? And yeah, it was really great year for us because like reporting data and yeah.
That's good to know that at least something positive we can bring from 2020.
Yeah, for the esports especially, it's less affected by the pandemic because we just switch everything to online, and yeah, it's not the same vibe at the offline events because, to be honest, when I go to the major to the Stockholm, it was way another experience than like watching these events, even big ones, in online because it's not the same. But at least you can see the teams competing, and the scene is not dead as well, like in traditional sports when teams literally doesn't playing each other and everything is like frozen. Yeah.
I think we all agree in that.
I was just thinking about it, like, so when an esport kind of dies, let's say, because there've been a few examples of games that are having losing player base and therefore less tournaments, less. You kind of play a role in that as well, because if the brands are looking at those games and you're their consultants and they are like, shall I invest in this game? And you tell them no, then you kind of play a role into all of that. It's amazing how it is all connected. I find it so interesting the way that you can influence on brand decisions, brands influence on the sponsorships. The sponsorships kind of can't even decide if a team goes ahead or not due to the lack of funds. So it is also like, just, this is mostly for the viewers because I think we know it already, but you see how every agent in esports is connected, every single one of them. So for you to explain this to us, I think it is just amazing. And also I wanted to ask you, just also out of curiosity, are there any metrics that people have ever asked you that were outside your range of like information? Maybe some weird metrics like, I don't even know. Are there any new parameters that people are asking for, perhaps?
Well, yeah, there are a few, but they're not strange. It's like
Okay.
very common one because their brands usually used to it in other media sources of like the advertisement. When you go, for example, for advertising on YouTube or Facebook, all this stuff, you all get this data because platforms gather it. In terms of this esports and also the streaming. It's like right now in some parts it's like terra incognita because nobody knows how to track this data. For example, we usually got a request on for example, let's say for the United States, some brands want to know what the viewer base in certain states of the country, but unfortunately it's impossible to get this data as a third-party resource. Only Twitch knows this because if you go to the website, Twitch knows everything about you because they have your IP address, and by the IP address you can get precisely the city of the viewer. But we don't have this data, and unfortunately, as a third-party resource, for example, we can't say about the location. But we are working on it. Like it's one of the things that we are hardly working because we understand that everybody will benefit from it, especially the brands, because it will help them to tailor their sponsoring capacities. Also, sometimes that's also very common request is to say how much money do streamer make
Oh.
our donations?
Hmm.
Yeah. So we got some leaks from the Twitch recently when it was stated, but it's like if you know you want some fresh data, it's kind of hard to get because basically you should analyze every streamer with logo recognition. It's like this model of when you train and neural artificial intelligence with which watches the video and recognizes when the donation is on the screen, recognizes the numbers, and then you can get this. But it's very expensive, especially because of cryptocurrencies. Because for training the model, you need a GPU, like
Okay.
graphical power unit, and they're extremely expensive because it's used to mine Bitcoin. And so this makes it's expensive. Yeah.
Okay.
Michael, there is a lot of questions that I would like to ask you, but I know there are a few minutes. I will say to do this if someone wants to make a question, but if not, we continue. Because I think
We'll
there is.
continue or end almost.
Yeah, no, we have to end, but it was really interesting all to understand all this information and how it works, really, because for me, it's fascinating. At the same time, I was scared of these things, like, because I know people and all this platform hurt you and somehow they all know all your information. For example, maybe I'm watching something and maybe another person that I talk to, they have all already the things that I was watching. It was like, it was like this.
No. So don't worry if, to be honest, to get this data, it's so you have to be technically skilled for this because you have to gather all this
Then there is no
viewership.
big deal for
So
no technical skills.
Yeah, you have to set up a server and be a techie guy to do it. But for I know developers, for example, it's the hard thing. But for a person who's not familiar with the things, it can be quite challenging. So don't worry, nobody will.
You know that I can trust you, Vlad. So everyone trust Vlad. Trust his foot charts.
I just want to ask you one last question before we say goodbye, and that is, of course, what's going to happen. We usually ask you about the future, but now we're so close to 2023. So, what are your plans for the near future? What would you like to do? Any personal projects you're working on that you want to talk about?
So yeah, we've got some projects, but it's more internal in the esports chats. I'm afraid I'm not ready to share anything because it's like the NDA and other stuff. But definitely,
You're breaking
we'll
my heart
definitely
right now. You're breaking my heart.
you'll definitely hear it when it goes live because we'll be posting it there, social media and stuff. But we're definitely planning maybe to host a webinar in the start of the year with the results of the 2021. We are right now working on it, so to put some partners, put all this stuff together. But I think we'll do it to make the results of the year to understand what's happening. Yeah.
Nice. It's a good way to end the program because I think we only have 1 minute. I'm so sad because I would like to ask you more things. Like, for example, how was the Ukrainian situation with all the data that you can collect? Because I really don't talk about your country. I don't know if you can do it in 1 minute.
So no, for a country. What particularly would you would like to ask?
Well, I would like to know how is the ecosystem right now, and what do you observe if it's evolving, especially with all the data that you are receiving from your own.
So if you're talking about the esports ecosystem in Ukraine, unfortunately, it's not so developed right now. So many of our viewers tend to watch Russian broadcasts, and unfortunately, like in our national language is Ukrainian, they don't get much attention. But as I said, in our holding, like ESM1, we've got the Sports Federation, who's doing a really great job in doing amateur tournaments for growing these people, so doing some growing ecosystem for new players and new stars to arise. Yeah, it's a lot of work to do. We are like our federation working on it. I think doing great. But let's see what's happening in like 5 years maybe. So
We will see what the future holds. So thank you so much, Vlad, for coming. And for those who have watched it right now, or maybe you'll watch it later, then you have to follow them because it's amazing. It's for Charles and also him, especially if you want to have any tournament regarding CSGO. and and especially because we listen to you in a conference and you explain really well all the esports ecosystem, and it was really good. So it was a pleasure that you came here.
thanks for the invite. I was glad to speak with you because no, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for me to meet you, to speak with you, and to talk about the esports. What else do I need?
Thank you so much. If you feel this like your home, if you maybe in the near future you want to come back, please, you will be my guest again.
We'll be happy to. We'll be happy.
Amazing. So we'll have you here in the second season, perhaps, Vlad. But for now, we have to say goodbye to you. Good luck. We'll keep an eye on your social media, not just in yours, in the esports chats as well. And we'll see what news you bring us. Thank you for now. And we're going to say goodbye to the audience. So we're going to leave you be in the backstage for a second, and we'll be back to you.
And we will come back.
Thank you. Thank you likewise, and have a great Christmas. And thanks. And for the audience, especially, thanks for staying with us and listening to our conversation. Yeah.
Thank you. Bye. Goodbye. Bye-bye.
So Carmen, we have to say goodbye. I know it's our last Christmas, our last program before Christmas. Maybe we will have a special one, but you will see.
Do we?
Yeah. We're going to have a special one, but it's a secret for the next. Not so much. Don't worry, Carmen. Just telling you now. I spoil you now.
Okay.
But thank you so much for everyone for watching us, and please follow us if you like our content, or just a thumbs up or something. That will be really nice. And for sure, you have all the entire week with a lot of esports. You have our colleagues tomorrow with workers, marketing on Wednesdays, and corporate on Thursdays. And we have on Friday actually news, and maybe our colleague Carmen will, Carmen. And Laura Luna will tell us everything about Henry Cavill, because she has the luckiest girl alive, because she interviewed Henry Cavill. I'm so jealous right now, Carmen. I have to admit.
Me too, but we don't talk about it.
Yeah. So
it's Christmas.
It's Christmas mood, so
no jealously.
Friend. We wish you everyone a lot of things wonderful, and we see each other maybe for the second season and maybe for our special. But don't miss us, because we will come back for the second season.
Bye.
Bye, guys.